Well, a few months ago, I posted on my channel that I am leaving California, and now we're down to having only a week left before we move. I know in a lot of old videos I've kind of complained about not really liking California a whole lot, but now that it's come down to it, I actually feel like I'm really going to miss a lot of things about the Bay Area and California in general. Well, there you have it. We are officially leaving San Francisco. But how did we get here in the first place? Let's back up a bit. Over the last 4 years, I have been slaving away at my job here in San Francisco. There wasn't one big aha moment where I knew I needed to leave. It was more like a slow buildup, constant stress gnawing away at me. There were nights where I'd be up at 2 a.m. typing out emails, responding to pings, and then I'd be back again at 6 a.m. for another round of calls. Around 3 years in, exhaustion started to set in, and I felt like I was constantly messing up. I kind of began to develop some type of work-related anxiety where I had this constant fear of missing meetings or missing a ping or sleeping through an alarm, and I felt like I couldn't escape. The pressure was relentless, and after 4 years, I realized I wasn't moving forward. Basically, I was stuck. I realized that what I was doing didn't have any personal relevance to me. If there's one big lesson I've learned, it's that our time is extremely limited. As I've gotten older, it feels like the days get shorter and time passes by more quickly. I've realized that each hour I've spent working is one less hour that I was able to spend working towards my own personal goals. And for once in my life, I feel like I really wanted to take a chance and see what I could do on my own. When I finally hit send on my resignation, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Like I'd finally come up for air after being underwater for too long. But it was terrifying too. I had no job lined up, I only had my ambitions, and not a clue whether I'd be successful on my own or not. So what's next? I quit my job and I'm leaving California. Where do I go from here? Well, you'll see. As I stated in the beginning of the video, we have just about a week left in San Francisco. San Francisco, honestly, it was a mixed bag. Our apartment was a bit old and it was next to a busy street, and I felt lonely. I've definitely complained about the homelessness, the open drug market, the traffic, and many more things. All of this stuff weighed heavy on me. Just like San Francisco on a foggy day, the negative aspects of the city obstructed my view, and I was never really able to appreciate all of the things that I did love about San Francisco. But now that it's time to say goodbye to this place, the fog has finally cleared. This has been a huge chapter in my life, and despite all the stress I experienced here, I think it was worth it. There's a unique charm to San Francisco that I couldn't see clearly while I was stuck in the grind. I realized that I'm going to miss a lot about this place. I loved being able to just walk across the street and find myself in Golden Gate Park, losing myself among the trees, the flowers, and the winding paths. I'll miss the sound of the foghorns in the early morning, the cool breeze that always seemed to blow in from the ocean, and the quiet moments when the city felt like it belonged only to me. And there were the redwoods. I'll never forget those towering giants, standing as they have for centuries, seemingly indifferent to everything happening in the world around them. I found a strange comfort in their presence, like they were silently reminding me that I, too, could be strong and steady in the face of adversity. San Francisco pushed me to my limits in ways I wasn't prepared for, but it also gave me some of the best experiences of my life. It forced me to confront what I really wanted, to stop coasting and start making deliberate choices about my future. I wanted more than just getting by. I wanted to feel alive and passionate about what I was doing every day. As I leave, I realize that sometimes it takes leaving a place to finally see it for what it truly is. I don't think I'll ever forget the lessons I've learned here, and the way this city has shaped me, challenged me, and in its own way, prepared me for whatever comes next. And maybe that's the real gift of this place, the clarity that comes after the fog lifts, the realization that every chapter, no matter how difficult, is part of a much bigger story. It's easy to focus on what's wrong when you're in the thick of it, but sometimes saying goodbye is what it takes to truly see the beauty that was always there. So as I move on, I'm taking those memories with me, the good and the bad, because they're all a part of who I am now. And I'm ready for the next adventure, with a heart that's a little bit fuller and eyes that can see just a little bit clearer. It really feels like it wasn't that long ago when we moved into this apartment. I mean, it was only like 3 years ago at this point. But something I've realized is that moving in is a lot easier than moving out. I think after all the time that we've been here, we've accumulated quite a bit of random stuff and junk. I remember putting all of this stuff together, and now here I am, taking it apart, getting ready to sell it. Well, I guess this is it, the end of an era. We've got the entire apartment all moved out. We're basically just doing some final cleaning here. touch up on the walls, so I did some painting. Yeah, we're about ready to go. Gotta go sell my car, which is kind of sad for me. And that's it, and we're gone. And there we go. That's the last time I will see this car. Just sold the car to Carvana. It was actually a super easy and simple process. So they basically have this whole tower of cars. So I guess once the car, goes through some inspections or something, eventually they'll load it up into here, drive it into this thing, goes into a hydraulic powered elevator, and then you come in here and they have this giant screen here where you can basically go through and select your car. All right, everyone, welcome to Hong Kong. We have finally made it after a not too long of a flight. The last couple of weeks when we were in San Francisco, I was kind of worried that I was gonna miss it. Like, I was walking around some of the streets and I was like, oh man, just the San Francisco vibe, kind of. I guess I'd gotten so used to it and I was worried that I would miss it. As soon as I landed in Hong Kong, I was like, oh, I've made the right choice. And so far, we've been here for a few days, almost a week, and I don't miss it at all. Not yet anyway.
Okay, let me preface though. We're like on the plane and it's like super dry, right, with all the AC and the airflow and stuff like that. But then once we get off the plane, like while we're still on the little bridge thing, it's like the humidity immediately increases to like 90%. So it's like the air gets so heavy and it's so hot and sticky. And then Nathan's like, oh, wow, we're home.
There's just something about Hong Kong when you step out of the plane into the ramp, immediately you have that feeling. You have the scent. To me, it's so nostalgic. Even though I didn't really grow up in Hong Kong has always felt like a big home to me. So, being able to have finally moved here is actually like a lifelong goal that I have been pursuing. I've been nagging Amanda about it for so many years. She finally agreed, and so we're here in Hong Kong. Anyway, this past week we've been doing a whole bunch of apartment hunting, looking at tons of different units. We've looked from different areas, from like Chun Wan, Qingyi, saw some in Dai Wai, Shatin.
Down onto the island. So we've looked at South Horizon, we've looked at Sai Ying Pun, Sharon Wan.
Well, it has been a pretty productive past couple of days. Actually, we are about to move in to our new apartment. We just signed the agreement today, paid the deposit. So when we were looking at apartments, this is one of the buildings we looked at. This is actually a pretty cool one, recently remodeled, but the problem was it's a walk-up and it's on the 4th floor. I guess if you're familiar with Chinese numbers, 4 isn't the best. A lot of buildings skip the 4th floor. We kind of ended up not choosing this one. So we're gonna walk over to Sai Ying Pun right now and pick up the keys and, start getting things moved over today.
So yeah, you just put it in and then just turn to the right. And then we're in.
And then we've got our apartment. All right, well, I guess this is our new home for who knows how long, I guess, going into the future. This is a 320 square foot apartment. We're paying close to 2,100 a month, so it is less than what we're paying in San Francisco. So they gave us like 15 different keys for this tiny apartment. So we've got like, I guess, 3 for this door, 3 for that door, a few for the front door. So this apartment used to be a 2-bedroom apartment, but they cut down the wall in between these bedrooms. So we have 2 doors for 1 bedroom, which is actually pretty decently sized. I think what we're gonna end up doing is blocking this door and putting the bed here. Put a desk right here maybe. And then unfortunately, I think we might have to end up blocking one of these windows and put a wardrobe there. That might be the best option. All right, and real quick, I'll show you guys the view from outside of the apartment. I think it's pretty cool. It's not the prettiest view. You get a lot of old buildings, you get a lot of new buildings. And then over here, which I think this view might end up being blocked someday because it looks like they're doing a lot of construction here, and we'll probably put a new really tall building in there, which will probably block our view of the harbor at some point, which I really like this. We get to see ships, it's not the best and biggest view of the ocean, but at least we have the sea view. We're super excited to take you guys around Hong Kong more and around China. One of the reasons why I wanted to move here is because I really wanted to do a lot more Asia-based content and China videos. At least now I'll have the opportunity to go around and explore more of Asia, which has really been my dream my whole life, basically. Probably my next video will actually be in China. We are headed up to Amanda's village where her parents are from. Anyway guys, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. Hope you enjoyed it. Click the like and subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.